rules allows you to create different types of actions and conditions, and you can create your own like functionalities for your devices. You can connect different devices with other devices. For example, what we're using in our office is we are controlling our lights by using buttons and relays. So we have in our lamps, we have the 16 ASPM relays connected to the lamps and installed there. And then just next to the door, we have placed these buttons that are named 1, 2, 3. And we have created this rule. So when we click once, one of the buttons, then the specific relay is turning on. So basically, we have named the buttons 1 and the lights 1. So we have quick overview of which one is controlling which one. And here we have connected the trigger device to the action, to the field, sorry. And we are selecting the field from here. I'm just going to create a new one in a minute, just so you can know how it can be created. But an overview of already working and created rule is this one. So basically, when you click on the first button, then you have control over the lights 1, and you're sending a custom command with state true for this device. And let me show you. This is another one. When you click on the button, we are sending a message to the person who is responsible for ordering water for our office. So he receives the message when this button is clicked, and this button is right next to the bottles of water. So when someone sees that the water is running out, then he clicks the button, and then our colleague receives the notification. And of course, you can automate this to even send an email to the company that you're ordering the water from. But let me show you how we're creating a rule. Of course, name and description. And then we have this blank dashboard from where you have these guides that are telling you what you should do. So the first step is to add a trigger device. The trigger device is the one that it's triggering the action that you want to be executed to the end. So let's filter this. Let's see if we have some. We don't have devices. Okay, here we have D2D test. Okay, device to device. This is a functionality for the devices. It is coming soon. You can control one device from another one directly without the use of software or the hardware and the software, the device itself, the firmware, but you don't need anything else. They can be set up directly together. But yeah, okay, I'm going to use this device, wireless thermostat. Let's see what we can do. And then you need to connect the trigger device with the field you want to use from this device. And let's say when measure temperature, I'm going to use the measure temperature. And here you can add as many devices as you would like. There is again no limit. And when you click on create field, let's say we have one field, like this is one type of device, wireless thermostat, and then I have two CO2 WAR1 devices. If I connect all of them here, they will use the same field. But you need a couple of devices of the same type just to use the same field for all of them. Let's say for CO2, I'm going to use the CO2. And then the second step is to add a condition. And here we have grouped the wireless thermostat and then the CO2 sensors to two fields. So I'm going to use field 1. So if measured temperature of wireless thermostat is more than, let's say, 24 degrees, because it's pretty high, and then CO2 of all these or either one of these devices is more than, here you have the option to select a comparison device. So what does it mean? It means that you can have the option of comparing the fields and the current status of one device to another one. So basically, if let's say this rule is being executed right at this moment, and I have the condition of CO2 higher than 1000, and the CO2 that it's in the next room are equal, or my CO2 in my room is higher than the one that it's in the other room, then do something. So this is why we have the option of comparison device. So here I can use only one of these CO2 or one devices, and then I will choose the CO2. So basically, what we did is, if the one of these devices CO2 is higher than the CO2 of this device that I selected, then do something. And you can add different roles here. And you can also add different conditions. For example, if you want to, this is actually what can be used here. But here, like, I just wanted to show the comparison with another device. And this is showing, it's not constantly 24, but currently is 24, but it's just constant. So you are writing a constant value. So it's not something dynamic like current value of another device field, but it's constant number. But yeah, of course, here you have, I'm going to remove the comparison to the other device, and let's say it's higher than 1000. So the CO2 would be very high. And yeah, okay, we're gonna send an email saying, okay, it's too hot and the CO2 is too high. You should open the window or the door or turn on the fan. We have a couple of actions here. We can choose notification, downlink, or webhook. The notification currently is only email, but we will soon be adding SMS and also push notifications as notifications for the rules. Also, we have the option to send downlink to another device or multiple devices. And then we have the webhook. Like, for example, you mentioned Slack, send notification to Slack. You can set up a webhook that is sending notifications to Slack. Actually, in the rule that I showed you with the water, sending notification to our colleague, it is sending webhook with setup to send messages in a Slack channel. Let's say now we have the email, and then we need to connect this condition to this action. So this condition is responsible for this action. And then if we add another condition, let's say it's filled in with some information, and you have another action, let's say it's webhook. And if you connect this one to this action, if this condition is met, then this action will be executed. Of course, you can connect two conditions to two actions and one condition to only one. You can basically do whatever you like with these ones, and you can remove the connections. But yeah, so let's say we are sending the email for the case where we need to open the window. And I'm just going to use this one. You write a message, it's too hot and the CO2 are too high. ASAP. Here also, what we can do in the message of the email or the webhook or the downlink is that we can actually include the and populate fields from another device. So basically, let's say we have next to too hot, we want to add, let me check which device I was using here. Okay. I'm using the wireless thermostat 40L, and I want to include this in my message. So I'm given the option to choose which field, like in a user-friendly kind of way. And then I just need to copy paste. this somewhere in the message, and I want to show the temperature of this device in my message right here. And then let's say I want to populate another one, CO2 of this device. And you can choose which field you want to populate here. Let's say we are using this here. You can use this, and of course, if you want to save this one, but the other one that disappeared. Okay. And now when we receive this email, we will have the information of the current status of these devices that we are using the information for the condition. So when we receive the email, we'll have it is too hot, it's 25 degrees, and then we have the CO2 levels are too high, and the CO2 levels are 1,500 or something like that. And then we'll get the email with all this information. So basically, it's very dynamic, and you can, like, this is why I didn't come up with some specific use case, because again, people are very different and they have different use cases. The buildings are different. For example, we have a client that is using the relays, and he's using the rules for turning on and off his electric heater. And also, like the heater is controlling the whole building. Is from these heaters. I don't remember how they're called, but it's a central heating boiler or something like that. And he's controlling the whole building, and he has set up the rule to turn off and on the relay based on a measured temperature of another device that it's in the same place where the relay is. Also, with the relays, again, we have the option to detect over voltage, overheating, and so on. And rules can be sending emails or sending downlinks. Okay, the current value of the power, let's say in the relay is X, and we need to turn off the device right away or do something else. So they're very dynamic, and we try to do them as flexible as we could. And we are planning of not only adding different actions or different notifications, but we are planning to add different types like time-based rules. Also, we're planning to add something like integrated schedules, but in between different devices, and so on. This can be expanded quite a lot. I forgot about this option here. So if we have rule that it's following, let's say, the measured temperature of device that it's set to 1 minute, keep alive, and then this rule will be executed every minute, and we don't want to receive an email, or we don't have the action executed every minute because this device has this lower value for keep alive, and we want to skip for the first 10 minutes and send this email, for example, only if 10 minutes has passed from the last execution of this rule. And this is from where we are setting the rule execution interval. But if it is not set, then it runs on every keep alive of the trigger device. Of course, you have the shortcut here to the documentation where there is more information on the rules. I'm not sure it's more, but at least it's written at one place.